exclusive victory. It's a flag-to-flag victory for Cooper Webb in Pittsburgh.
What up? Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Title 24, presented by NBC Sports. Happy to say I got a special guest today. My man, Ryan Villapoto, my co-host, is out doing some homework with Yamaha today, actually at the goat farm, but he won't be here. But filling in for him, a dear friend of mine, Jeff Stanton, 6-time AMA champ, one of my heroes, mentors. Glad to have him on board. Before we get going with Jeff and a great show that we have here today, we got to thank our great sponsors, United Motorsports, Quad Lock, Dunlop, Boxo. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the best, and thanks for all the support and enjoying the ride with us here at Title 24. But nevertheless, a warm welcome to my great friend. We did the intro already. Jeff, thanks for coming on and subbing for RV, dude.
I got some big shoes to fill, huh?
No. I guess so. Yeah. No doubt.
Thanks for having me on, man. We got lots to talk about. An exciting weekend in Pittsburgh. Man, the place looked great. The facility looked great. The people, and then the racing was just next level. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. We got a whole bunch of questions this week for you guys. For everyone that is only listening to the audio version, we appreciate you guys. And then obviously you can see us if you're watching the video version on YouTube or Peacock. So yeah, it was definitely interesting. First and foremost, a massive shout out to the fans that turned up this weekend. Jeff, they were awesome. There were so many. They were pumped to be there. Like you said, the place was packed. I know that the pre-sale was strong. I'm not sure how the walk-up crowd is, but hell, man, when the pre-sale was that good, it was awesome. Mother Nature put it on for us. It was a little cold and windy, but hell, a lot better than the rain, as you know, my man.
Yeah, we all have the itch right now, being in the Midwest, and they're not really in the Midwest, but it's time everybody gets out and starts riding. My son and his wife were up in northern Michigan riding MX bikes on single track. It's that time of year, and they timed it perfect with weather and timing for that race.
Right. Hey, Jeff. So before we get going in the United Motorsports moment of the week and get into the nuts and bolts of the show, getting ready for some Jeff Stanton adventure rides up at Two Hats Ranch, I'm sure. Tell us what you got cracking this season and when everything gets going. It's got to be pretty soon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We start in the month of May. I got 2 in the month of May. Some adventures we do. We've got adventure training as well. The Triumph Adventure Experience that we do at Two Hats, just a closed course adventure bike training. So yeah, I've got a full list to schedule at jeffstantonadventures.com. We're super blessed. We're lucky riding the new Tiger 900s, showcasing how beautiful Michigan is. RC, you've been there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And then we throw in a South Dakota ride that's just the Black Hills is awesome. I love Black Hills. My wife and I'll have a place there someday just to get away. So yeah, lots of
we can't wait for that. So everyone tuned in to Title 24 today. If you follow Jeff, you know all about what he does at JSA and his adventure rides and Triumph backing him. It is absolutely incredible. I had the opportunity to do it not last summer, but the summer before, in between the Charlotte playoff race and in Chicago. And we went up there, a whole bunch of friends of ours, some people from Australia as well that sometimes join on our the RC Summer Adventure Ride. And it was just absolutely epic. The crew that Jeff has helping with the rides and the fleet that he has, and just the hospitality at Two Hats is second to none. You talk about the lodging, the food, sporting clays, you name it, they have it. I mean, they just, it was definitely a special experience. And then getting to see parts of Michigan, Jeff, that I've never seen, it was a lot of fun. And the most important, outside of just riding is the memories that I will, have with me forever going through there, the fun times that we had on the trails, and again, the hospitality and hanging out at the lodge. I've been to other lodges for different kinds of hunting, as you know, Jeff. But for the people who don't know, Jeff, being an outdoorsman, myself, quasi outdoorsman, we've been to other places and other different lodges, and Two Hats definitely has it going on. And outside of that, I think of like our time at Mackinac Island. That was a lot of fun. And then outside of that, what I took away from the JSA ride was just for people who might not be as advanced as you, Jeff, myself, and even as good as the Aussies were, and other great riders with Chad Works and those guys. You do a great job at beginner level riding. So people tuned in, and Jeff, you can explain it a lot better than I have. I mean, you don't have to be intimidated by this. It's not something gnarly, right?
Right. And we come across that all the time. I'm past that stage of my life. I'm 56 years old. I just want to go ride and enjoy it.
Don't let them. Hey, don't get carried away now. Until it comes to the wheelie contests. But go ahead, keep on going.
But seriously, I get that all the time, and it's about tailoring the ride for each customer. And that's why I encourage everybody to get 4, 5, 6 of their buddies. That way, they all know each other, and we can tailor it for that level 3 guy or that level 5 guy. I got a great staff that we cater to all. It's about the whole experience. It's about, as you said, Two Hats in the lodging and food. That's next level. It's about just riding and enjoying it. We do 200-mile rides a day, and we average just barely 30 mile an hour. So we're not high speed. It's about enjoying the Triumph motorcycle, showcasing how beautiful Michigan is, and the full experience.
Yep. Well, everybody go check it out. JeffStantonAdventures.com. I believe that's what it is. And you will not be bummed. I can tell you that. And I had a great time doing it. I got I want to go back. I'll eventually do it once this TV stuff slows down and my other work. But got one of our other guys that we ride with quite a bit here in Tallahassee. Great friend of ours. He's more of a beginner guy. But he has a great time, and he wants to go back just to kind of hone in on those skills that we talked about for the, more novice rider, if you will. So go check it out. Nevertheless, Jeff, pumped to have you on. Thank you for your time. I know it's valuable. We got an epic show today, not only because you're on, but just how great the racing was. A lot on the line for the 250 Eastern Division Championship, and then, of course, the premier class, 450 class. So let's get right into it, and it has to be with the bounce back ride. The United Motorsports moment of the week is the Cooper Webb Chase Sexton battle, continuing to go down to the last race. And I got to give it up to Cooper Webb. And that, again, the bounce back ride, Jeff, when you just absolutely get dominated the weekend before. And I've been in this position. You've been in this position. It is hard to recover from that. But you know what? He went out there and he did exactly what he does. And this is why I feel like, Jeff, you can never count out a guy like Coop. When you watched this race, before we get into the fan question, my man, like, tell me, like, what you were watching that whole race going down.
Wow, it was amazing. Yeah, last week he just got it handed to him, but he's a champion. He's a warrior. He just keeps fighting. He knows what it takes to go out there and win, and he proved that. He put all his emotions aside at the drop of that gate and made it happen every lap. You know how hard it is to lead that many minutes, that many laps with somebody right on your tail the whole way. And he had a plan. He wasn't going to alter from it, which was awesome. You see that right through the whoop section. He knew he was going to jump them whoops. He's notorious for it. And so ultimately it kind of come down to that during the race. Chase made a little mistake in that whoop section, but man, just a great race. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it was on it like in the booth, we were on pins and needles. And sometimes, Jeff, I mean, we've been great friends for a long time, and you've been kind of like, you know what goes on, and, our position in the booth and calling types of races like these. It's so hard because it's like you're waiting for one shoe to drop, right? And it's so close. It's like, okay, is one guy going to which guy is going to mess up to where we see something go down when it's just a close battle like that. And they were both really rock solid. Like, again, I don't want to take anything away from Sexton because, dude, I know the result isn't what he wanted. You know that. But outside of him jumping off the track, I don't know that there's much that he could have done any better. I mean,
no, not at all. And you said it during the race. I think his bike handled a little bit better. That bike worked on that track a little smoother. There was a couple of times where I held my breath for Coop as he was going through a couple of turns and kind of started to lose the front end and dabbed his foot, but he just recovered great.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chase struggled there in the whoops, and we can talk about that. I mean, he had it in his head. He was going to blitz all the time. I believe, if I had to ask him, I believe he was going to blitz the whoops nonstop the whole time. And then they probably got a little tough and he had to drop in, and that totally took his mojo off.
Yeah, no doubt. Aaron, we have, before we get into the fan questions, the fans have some epic questions pertaining to the race, and then we can kind of give our analysis on these questions. Before we get into that, can you roll the sound on tape of Coop in the press conference and what he thought about, where he feels like he's at with 2 to go here?
It's easy. Everyone keeps saying, get one win, and mathematically it's over. And it's like, dude, that ain't the case. Think it's easy to go get second every night? Like, no, it's not. And so there's anything that can happen. It's motorsports, and it's just mathematically it helped, but it ain't over till it's over. These guys like Justin and Kenny and AP and Malcolm, like they're giving it their all too, and they can be in the mix on any given night. So it's a big relief in the sense of, yes, I guess if you were to look at us going 1 and 2, mathematically does help, but that's not guaranteed by any means. So I think for me, it was more just to stop the bleeding, especially after last week.
All right. So when he says that, what's your first reaction?
I thought that was a great comment. It's not easy to go get second. Everybody's saying that, he can just ride around now. Well, look at what happened at Denver with Tomac. We just talked about it with a buddy of mine. Anything can happen at any time. Both of those guys are going to put in their homework all week, and they're going to show up and they're going to race. And it makes it a little easier for Coop, but it's still not easy at all.
Yeah, I definitely, it isn't. The depth is big. Yeah, I know we got guys going out, and like you said, anything can happen. We're going to some tracks that, especially Denver, can get super hard pack, easy to make a mistake. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I just want to, I do think in a way it takes a little bit of pressure off. Let's face it, Jeff. You know that 12 points is a hell of a lot better than 6 points going into the last 2 rounds. And there you are for those of you who only are listening to the podcast. We got the points up, and Sexton's 12 points back with 2 races ago. They're both tied at 5 wins. Kenny's back there in 3rd place, 54 back. A great battle for 4th in the championship between Justin Cooper and Malcolm Stewart. Justin Cooper got a podium this weekend, so now he's 4th in points. Great ride for him as well, but still I like it because now he can go 3rd, assuming that Chase wins, and he still wins by 2 points if he goes 3rd the next 2 rounds. Is 3rd easy to get? No, not necessarily, but it's a hell of a lot easier than 2nd to get the next 2 rounds. I think, like, putting myself in this position, Jeff, like, I feel like, okay, 2nd, you got to be on your game, but 3rd is like still got to be on your game, but it's much more manageable if something goes wrong early on in the main event. I think it was kind of a disclaimer but also showing respect to his competitors is what I read from the comment. I think he's in a good spot, dude.
Yeah, he's in a great spot. I believe he can still start 9th or 10th this weekend or the following weekend and still be on the podium. That's pretty doable for him as fast as those guys. I mean, what they lap? 6th place this past weekend?
Yeah, something like that.
So those guys were just really on their A game. So yeah, it's never over, but
Right.
there's a little less pressure.
You know how it is, dude. Come on, you know.
A little sigh of relief, but then on the other hand, I would, and I will text Chase and I'll say, hey, anything can happen. There's nothing like winning a title at the last race. You've been there, I've been there, and so he has to still have that vision.
Right. All right. So some questions. I love this question. Jason Thomas, our trackside race analyst at on the broadcast for NBC. He writes in an epic question. Very hard to answer, but a good question. In your experience at this point in the season, are the championship contenders more focused and raised the level on everyone else? Or does everyone else have a lack of interest and shifted to outdoors? That's a tough one for me, Jeff. I'm gonna let you answer it first, just because I'm the host and everyone wants to hear what you have to say. So, like, where are you at with that question?
And you and I have talked about this many a time.
Yeah.
The cream always rises to the top, and the cream has rose to the top this year in those two guys. And it's going to be an epic battle. Have the other guys checked out a little bit? Yes, those guys that are 85 points back, they've checked out, but they're still respectively racing for their position. You saw Malcolm; he wasn't afraid to punt Kenny this weekend to get a few points and some bonus money. So they're still racing for dollars. There's still bonus money to be made there. But the cream has rose to the top. Those two guys are going to battle it out, and third, fourth, fifth place, they probably switched to a little bit outdoors by now.
Yeah, 100%, JT. Like, and you know this because you've been around great champions. I mean, for sure, two-time champ Chad Reed. You spent a lot of time with him, and at championship time, the championship runners just seem to find their way to the front and mirroring each other quite often. I mean, you look at the last, 3 rounds or so, 2 for sure. I mean, you could throw a blanket over Sexton and Webb the first couple laps, or at least the first half of race for the most part. They happen to find their way. Like Jeff is saying, the cream rises to the top towards the end, and they know what's on the line. Is everything on the line at the beginning of the series? Absolutely there is. But everyone, in my opinion, especially this time, is honed in. It's basically like, playoff time for these guys, not for the SMX World Championship, but like in other forms of sports, you see their best work towards the end of certain series. And I think that's a reflection of what you're seeing, certainly from Coop and Chase. I mean, Chase has to win, and Coop has to perform as well. So to what JT is asking, that just automatically puts these guys in a situation to where you have to run up front, right, Jeff? So, and then I do think that some guys have checked out for sure. I think that I know that there's a lot of guys spending some times on the Pro Motocross Championship, prepping for that, testing their motorcycles and teams, trying to get ready and get a jump on everyone else. So, yeah, I do think that this is a time of the season where guys lays down. But then, like what, Jeff, you were talking about, you got the battle for fourth in the championship. I mean, there's a lot of money on the line for a guy like Malcolm Stewart and Justin Cooper, and a lot of pride as well. So I think that's one reason why you're seeing those guys continue to battle. I mean, you said it perfectly, Jeff. You saw Malcolm get into Kenny the last lap. I mean, Justin Cooper out there contending, winning his heat race. So that you couldn't have said it any better, brother. People rise to the top, but I do think there is a certain percentage of the guys that have checked out for the Supercross series. All right. So next question, Brad Bolton. Have you ever taunted your rivals' opponents with hand signals during or after a race? Have you?
No. Hey, you and I are on the same page here as well. It's called karma. It's called karma. Yeah. You do things right now. I would have I would have never done it. I don't believe you would ever done it. And so hopefully it doesn't come back to bite him. But actions speak louder than words all day.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know that I've ever done anything like what these guys do after the track. I can tell you from our side of the handlebars, it's a lot of fun, Jeff, to watch, right? On the other side of the handlebars, it's fun to watch the antics. I think that, like, for me, I think the best way to beat anyone mentally is just go out and dominate. You know, like nothing. I don't think hand signals or words can work any, you know, it can be any more powerful than going out and winning actually and just dominating.
Yeah, if they show the face of Chase Sexton at the press conference versus Cooper, that pretty much says it all. Absolutely.
That's right. All right. So Chase Sexton again, I talked about it right here at the beginning of the United Motorsports moment of the week. Like, dude, he can't be bummed about that. Did he make a mistake? Of course he did. There's a lot of questioning about whoops and should he continue to have blitz the whoops. I'm kind of torn, Jeff. Yes, I think blitzing most of the time is faster, especially if you have a semi-decent run into them. But also the whoops are, in my opinion, very dirt dependent upon if you want to jump or blitz and how they're holding up. And sometimes they change. It's faster to blitz them in the beginning of the race and then start jumping, or blitz the whole race, or not even blitz at all. So I don't know that I am so like bummed or like, I'm not saying to Chase, Jeff, I guess that he should have like continued to blitz. Number one, I wasn't on the track and I wasn't riding his motorcycle and I couldn't see what they looked like. I respect Chase in his judgment of going to the jumping route. You know, I would just give him that courtesy of knowing that he made the right decision, of knowing when to pull back and stop blitzing him. Like, where are you at with his decision to not continue to blitz?
Well, there's so much emphasis put on whoops the last how many weeks, and that's just a small piece of the puzzle. There's 8 pieces of pie in that whole pie, and we're talking about the whoops, and yeah, it came down to it this week. For me, Chase should have kept blitzing him. I think he could have blitzed him for the full race, because as soon as he decided to jump him, as you said on the broadcast, he didn't hit it fast enough. It threw him off balance, off track. Party was over. But listen, he rebounded and came right back up and got right on Coop's wheel again. So that's where I'm saying it takes 8 pieces of the whole pie. He had the rest of the track, in my opinion, down a little better than Coop. And then Coop just had it. I mean, he's a jumper. He just had it in his head that he was going to jump just like that and go through them. And ultimately, one little decision was the difference there. But as I said, Chase was faster pretty much consistently everywhere except that one little spot, and just one little brain fade right there in the whoop section, and that's what cost the difference. And those guys, those two were at another level, and they were at another level compared to everybody else.
Going to that mistake, and a couple things. So one thing about when you know you're going to jump the whoops, I think that Justin Cooper, I think that Cooper Webb, they knew when that main event started that they were going to jump the whoops. That's one less thing that you have to worry about. I wonder if Chase thought that he was going to blitz the whoops all race, or was there a question in his head of, hey, am I going to, blitz these whoops the whole time? Or I wonder if I'm going to have to start jumping them. Like, as silly as it sounds, it's little moments like that take your eye off. It doesn't take your eye off the prize, but it's just one more thing to think about. So as you're racing the whole track, right, Jeff, you're like, I wonder if this is the lap that I should start blitzing it. So I think from when and Jeff, I've been in this position, and you've been mentoring me when I was in this position in 2003, like, hey, all right, are you blitzing or are you jumping? Well, you need to blitz because it's faster, but if you don't feel confident, then you take your licks and you just jump and you quit thinking about it. I mean, That's what
you plan your work and you work your plan. As you said, Jay Coop and Cooper Webb, they're jumpers, so they had their plan and they had it down. Justin Cooper in that heat race, oh my gosh, he was on fire. He was amazing. So yes, either way, you plan your work, you work your plan. And so if I had to bet, the KTM semi was probably watching the video and seeing how fast Jay Coop was going through there when he pulled away significantly in that heat race. And so they're like, okay, well, what are you going to do? And there was a plan, but it wasn't a significant plan. And you've been there as a racer. It's hard to say, I'm going to blitz, I'm going to blitz, I'm going to blitz. And then all of a sudden go, okay, I'm going to drop in this time. That takes even more of a commitment.
Right. Yeah. It takes more of a commitment. And especially if you're not comfortable of doing that and your default position is always blitzing whoops, like, yeah, it makes it different. As far as that mistake, and I thought like Chase was he was either in too high of a gear or too low of a gear, because it just didn't seem like he got the snap that he needed. And that's when right here that the front end dropped. So wondering if, because he was uncertain of what he was going to do, if he was in the wrong gear, which that's kind of what it seems like. It looks like that. Again, I don't know that for a fact, but seems like that's what happened. And that could be from the uncertainty and, not jumping whoops all the time. Again, some of these guys might be jumping them in third. Some of them might be jumping them in second gear, probably personal preference. But, that goes back to another of decision-making, like we were talking about. Like, if you know what you're going to do, the chances of you being in the correct gear are going to be a lot higher, and that kind of mistake won't happen. So, I mean, if you start looking at it and peeling the layers back, these are the things that happen when you don't know exactly what you're going to do. There are times you need to throw an audible. I get that, right? But what do you think?
Yeah, from watching that video, it's 100%. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Am I going to blitz or am I going to drop in? And it was just all about not having enough speed to blitz it and or to jump through it. And so it's too bad that so much focus and pressure is put on one section like this, but it's one mistake that potentially cost him that race win. And again, let's put the focus on the mental preparation that it takes to go out there and do what those two kids did. Man, it's amazing. People don't understand. We've been there and done it and know what it's like. And you see the look on Chase's face right there. He was disappointed, but it takes so much mental focus and preparation to go out there and do that for 25 minutes.
Oh, he did say, actually, I'm crazy. It was such a wild night, but he said on the podium or somewhere that on the broadcast that he quit blitzing the whoops because it took too much energy, which is gnarly because the whoops last weekend in East Rutherford were crazy rutted out. I would have assumed that it would have been taken more energy to blitz the whoops in East Rutherford. But then again, when I think of the whoops in East Rutherford, especially those first set, Jeff, you had a massive run going into them. So you weren't trying to build speed rather than you only had to maintain. Rather, this week he was trying to build speed coming out of the corner, so which takes more strength, as you would think. So right, so maybe there's your answer. He said it took too much strength, and I think Chase, I mean, he's an incredible athlete, and that's where I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Dude, he knows what he can do for 26 laps and knows what he can't do for 26 laps, and if he says that's why he didn't want to blitz him, then you have to give him the nod and trust that he made the right decision for him to yield the best result that he could possibly get, dude.
Yeah, and like you said, they're both athletes. At the end of the race, I see Coop sitting down, trying to catch his breath, and I thought to myself, man, those guys, they're at another level. They're in great shape, and they're just mentally tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I was Townley had text in to JH. He's like wondering, about the whoops. He thought that Chase should have kept blitzing like he did last week, and he thinks it would have been better. And do you think he'll do it again this week? Anyhow, long story short, there's the answer. He gave us the answer. It was taking too much energy, and that's why I did it. Moving along to the next question. How do y'all like Sexton lining up on the inside gate since y'all are inside guys? I mean, I guess that question just answered he answered the question, right? Burks. I'm gonna ruin this name. Burkish 07. There you go. Well, I can tell you, everybody, what Stanton's going to say about this, but we're going to let him say it. Did you like where he started?
Yeah, I mean, we're two peas in a pod, and I mentored you on it, and you always start inside, especially on a long start like that. Your momentum's getting carried out. You play it safe and go on the first few gates, always.
Yeah. 100%. You got I say it on live air, Stanton. Yeah. I'm an inside guy. Yeah. Any day of the week and twice on Sunday, brother. So anybody wants to know why I start on the outside, it's because of guys like Stanton and Johnny O mentoring me. Never leave that outside, never leave that inside gate open for your competitors to get in there. So that's why we do that. Good question, Burkish. Next question, Jeremy _Smith 28. Do you think Chase lost some confidence after J. Coop blew him away in the heat? Can losing in the heat, or losing that bad in the heat, change your mindset for the night? I'll go first on this one. I was surprised of how far that Chase dropped back. I wasn't surprised about how well Justin Cooper rode in the heat, Jeff, but I was surprised that they put that much time on Chase, especially championship down to the wire. Both him and Coop are riding at such a high level, but I expected the four to be a little bit closer in the heat race. I thought going into the main, I was on high alert, wondering if there was an underlying problem, that maybe we didn't know about, of why Chase wasn't able to stay with the lead group in the heat. And so I was kind of interested to see if it was going to affect him in the main. And obviously it didn't, because he was right there early on. But what's your answer to Jeremy's question?
Well, I think it's a great question, and I just said something about it a little bit ago when Jay Coop just annihilated him there. So maybe they go back to the semi and they watch that video of how smooth Coop was jumping through there, and maybe that was a little bit of a decision maker in the main event for Chase to do that. Maybe, we're just talking maybes here. I don't know for sure, but maybe by Coop just going through that whoop section the way he did in that heat race, put a little doubt whether I should blitz or I should jump. Okay. We don't know that, but I was surprised that he dropped back as far as he did. And if you had a doubt, maybe he should have started jumping them in the heat race to get comfortable so he could help make that decision for the main.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to get that practice and have a default position in case blitzing isn't going to work out well. And I just wonder, and thinking of if it were me and you in the Honda rig back in the day through 2002, 2003, where our heads would have been, Jeff, knowing like, hey, we're not going to be able to blitz these whoops in the main for the entirety of the race. So you need to be jumping these whoops at some capacity, whether it be in practice, whether it be in the heat race, like you're saying, to get the flow, know how the bike's going to react. And I just wonder if those conversations happened, or was it too late before you could have those conversations? Because I know that you and I have had that conversation before, like, hey, you're not going to be able to blitz these whoops the whole time. Blitz them while you can, but beforehand, before you get to the main, start jumping them. You wonder if these conversations are happening,
Yeah. And as you said, we've had those conversations in the past. I don't know where they're at in the KTM truck, how everybody's getting along there and who's helping make them decisions. But having the right people around you, mentoring you, and talking about this before it comes up is huge.
Yeah. Yep. All right. That's it for the United Motorsports moment of the week. that there's a lot of meat to talk about. We could go on for days. That's why, like, it was a great broadcast. I felt like, and for no rhyme or reason other than just the track was great and the battles were great. I felt like we had a great show in the booth. So that was a lot of fun. Obviously, when the racing is good, it makes it a lot more, a lot easier. But that's it. Go to unitedmotorsports.com. Remember, sign in, United Motorsports / Title 24. Enter your email. You get a $15 credit towards your first purchase. And then every single week after that, you will be entered into their drawing of a $50 credit towards your next purchase. So go over to United Motorsports and sign up, get going there. Incredible store online. They have several stores in the Ohio and Kentucky area. So get over there if you're in that area, check them out. Moving along to the Boxo breakdown section of the week. And you already alluded to it a little bit at the beginning of the show, Jeff. Tell us, what do you think that the move that Mookie did to Roczen on the last lap, is it justified? Was it over the line? Where do you stand on this?
No, I mean, I don't know where his bonus structure's at, but if he gets a top 5 bonus or a top 4 bonus, I mean, ultimately that's what it comes down to. I like to see the fight. So if the door's open, yeah, I mean, it was a bump, but I'm all for it. I love it.
Right. I mean, I thought, Kenny was trying to defend the position. Malcolm had so much momentum coming off of the whoops onto that table and then over. He was committed for it. Maybe he thought at the last second that Kenny was going to go to the outside. It would have been hard to stop. Number one, that corner was so close to that 3-footer getting off. Yeah, right. You had a 3-footer, then boom, left-hand side, or that left inside turn was right there. So he wasn't going to be able to get stopped in time, I don't think, and not make contact. Do I think he meant to hit him as hard as he did? I don't think so. I don't think Malcolm really rides like that unless he needs to, or you've done something to him. And obviously Kenny doesn't ride like that. So I think it was situational. And like you said, there's a lot on the line for a guy like Malcolm and Justin Cooper. He's in a championship fight for 4th position. I don't know their contract bonus structure either, but I'm guessing there's they're incentivized for 4th place in the championship. So there you go. Kenny, you could see there, Jeff, Kenny was anticipating it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you talked about it on the broadcast. Kenny's he's riding injured. I mean, it's very obviously that he's riding great at the first part of the race, but then the injuries, he's riding at 80% at the end, and so he maybe wasn't expecting it. But a guy like Stewart and Coop, they gotta prove to the manufacturers that they still got it, and it's contract time again. If we're being honest about that too.
It is. Michael Antonovich from Course Heading, he did say that Malcolm did apologize to Kenny. I don't think it was as deliberate as maybe that it appeared. I'm just like, and again, it's the last lap. I take everything into consideration of what was going on and where Malcolm is at in the championship. I already talked about it. I don't need to keep regurgitating my words and what I said, but the situation was what it was. No harm, no foul. That's my outlook on it. And then for Justin Cooper, I think he's riding great. I loved the intensity that Justin had all night long. I mean, dude, he was going for it in a heat race, getting that heat race, and then the second podium of the year. I mean, dude, the guy is rolling. And Jeff, I haven't talked to you about this. I like Justin Cooper's how he rides and his style, especially for the 450. It doesn't seem like he overrides the bike, which you more than anyone can attest to. Bigger displacement bikes like that, the harder you ride them, or if you override them, they can be beasts and they don't work as well as maybe being a little bit more efficient. So what would you agree? Like, where are you at with that? And do you like his style?
Oh, absolutely. He rides that bike right in the meat part of that bike. Doesn't rev it as much as some of the other guys. And no, I'm happy for Jay Coop. We want to see him succeed. And do I feel that he has to perform in the next 3 weeks? I just alluded to it. It's contract time, and you got to show these manufacturers right now how you can finish up and then take that into the outdoors. And so he's a little better outdoor guy as well. So no, I'm excited for it. It brings new life into every weekend is how he's going to do. And I mean, he's surrounded by all the right people. You want to be successful, you surround yourself with successful people, and he's right in that wheelhouse, and he has to take advantage of it.
Yeah, everybody tuned into Title 24 right now. When you take away what Jeff just said, dude, and it rings true, not only in SMX, but I think all sports, and Jeff, life in general. If you want to surround yourself with winners, and your chance of winning, I believe, is going to be a lot better, right? And whether it's in sport, whether it's in life, I think it goes a long ways. And, like he does. He's got a great group of people around him. Cooper Webb is one of them. And then, of course, the race team with Rich Simmons and everyone behind the scenes there at that Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha team. I mean, his mechanic, everyone, he has a good support group. And, when you do that, I think I think, and I believe he's already signed. I think he's locked in again for that ride again next year. So good for him, right?
Absolutely. And, let's not forget Eli. He's had Eli in his corner, and I'm sure if he called Eli and asked him anything, that Eli would be open as well. So, yeah, his toolbox is full. He just need to use all the tools in that toolbox and make it happen.
All right. So 450 was epic. Moving along. And I can't wait. You got some great stories about your journey of becoming a Supercross champion and what that looked like and how you did it, which was mind-boggling. But this freaking 250 East Coast Division Championship, Stanton, is something like I haven't seen in ever. For how many guys have an opportunity to win the championship? There's 7 different winners in this East Division so far out of 9 rounds that they've raced. That is so gnarly. I mean, we're looking at the points right now. Tom Vialle is in the lead, 1 point over Hammaker and 3 points over RJ Hampshire. So their last race is going to be at Salt Lake, Jeff, and it's a showdown. Anything can happen in the showdown. You know that. It's going to be exciting to see. It's basically a winner take all for the most part. I say that, but if you get into the situation of where RJ gets second, but then Vialle gets third, I believe Vialle wins, on by 1 point, assuming that Hammaker doesn't win. So outside of anybody finishing in front of them, yeah, it's winner take all. What do you think about this championship, and what has been the biggest surprise to you in this championship?
Well, the championship's outstanding. To take it to the last race with that many guys having the opportunity to win a title and advance their career, it's amazing. Seth has got to be the surprise to everybody.
Yeah, dude. So tell us about that. I love stories like listening to you.
Yeah, you
go for it.
I love it. The guy that, we didn't see what he had to start the Supercross season out, and he just kept working hard. He kept putting in his time, putting in his laps. He got the right breaks when he needed them. Got a win that was his wins have been just dominating. And so I like that feel-good story from Seth getting hurt last year and then making a couple of mistakes to start the season off, and nobody really even had any inkling that he was going to be in a championship battle at the first one or two races. He put it together. He put his head down. And we know where he's training and doing his homework, and it showed. So he's my feel-good story for this championship. Tom has been consistent, and I was so happy to see him get that win. He was clutch this weekend when he needed to be. He had to be clutch to give him the confidence to go into this last race. So hats off to Tom for being clutch. Felt a little bit bad for Seth, bad start, but he minimized his damage. He just kept picking it away and getting the points that he needed. So going into the last race, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and a gnarly ride for Tom too. Yeah, I mean, dude, he had a huge get off in practice, bro.
Yeah.
It was I was like, when I saw it happening, he got pretty lucky because he landed on the back side of that 3-footer, so it didn't the impact, wasn't as abrupt as it could have been, obviously, had he hit the face of the jump. So yeah, clutch performance. We've been, it's no secret he hasn't been the fastest guy, but he's been very, very consistent. RJ has the most podiums of anyone in that series, at least up until this past weekend he did. So but Tom has just been there. And we've kind of talked about it. Well, I shouldn't say kind of, we have. He races like the way that he races, and for championships, like, even though he hasn't had the speed, what he's been doing is now, look, it's working. He holds the points lead going into the final race of the season. It was a clutch performance. I thought he had more speed this weekend than what he's had the rest of the series. I really did. He rode great, dude.
Yeah, I agree. And to bounce back from that crash, when he bounced off the second bounce off of his handlebars and that sent him over into that tough block, that was the one that scared me more than anything. But
yeah,
a solid ride, just kept putting pressure on Nate Thrasher, who you can't take nothing away from Nate. He rode a solid race as well. But Tommy's just been there week in and week out and gaining speed. And to me, this confidence has given him a little bit of advantage going into the last race. He can put in his work the next 2 weeks and win a championship at the last race with that many competitors. It's going to be exciting for all of us and for each one of those riders, that whoever's going to win the title.
Fair point on the confidence and what this win could perhaps do for Tom going into that final round. And again, his ability to win championships. He's a defending East Coast divisional champion right now, and he's got 2 MX2 GP championships. So the guy knows what he's doing and how to manage a championship. RJ Hampshire, dude, got lucky. Got really, really lucky. Fortunately, he didn't hurt himself when he crashed, because that was gnarly. I guess the lapper kind of squeezed him out, or was in his line, so he went a little bit further to the left and sadly jumped off the track. But coming back from that and still be able to get fourth and has a chance to win the championship, perhaps win another championship in 2 weeks' time in Salt Lake. I thought it was a good finish, and he's banged up too. There's no secret. He did say he had a better week. He was in less pain. I don't know like the percentage of less pain that he was in, but I've been very I'm pumped for him and how he's been able to position himself to give him a shot at another championship, being banged up. You know how hard it is to ride with these injuries. What was your take on RJ, and tell us what you're looking for him moving forward?
Well, you can never count RJ out. He's been there and done it. He's put in his time, lots of race wins, a couple of championships there. So you can never count RJ out. The cream always rises to the crop, and he's been there. Yeah, those mistakes are costly for him. You can't do that in the late battle run. You have to know, you have to have your eyes on the prize. He needs to be watching those lappers, seeing which way they're going and he's going. So that was his fault, but he rebounded, got up, got going as quick as he could. You alluded to it. The injuries, it's tough to race every weekend hurt and to go home and train and mentally be happy and think you're doing the right thing. Am I doing the right thing by riding? Am I not doing the right thing by riding? So riding injury is a whole nother level that, a guy like Tommy doesn't have to deal with right now.
All right. So winner take all. They're in a winner take all situation for the most part. You've been in this situation again. I have once, which I never told anybody this, but so as Jeff and I were working together, and like I've only been in this position one time where I had to win the championship. or beat someone to win the championship, like right in front of them. And so Jeff was like, I want you to go through that and experience that. I'm like, that's kind of messed up, dude, because that's no fun. And you just would laugh at me. I'm like, that sounds like a miserable situation to be in. But you were in this position, and tell us that story, what it was like, who you were tied with, what was at stake, what you had to do to get that Supercross championship. It's a credible story. You guys are going to love this. Take it away, brother.
Yeah. So 1992, it was one of those years where I believe I only won one race, but I was just consistent. And long story short, going into the last race, LA Coliseum, I can't tell you how many points I was down. I was down a lot of points. And so Bradshaw just had to ride around and finish within 2 positions of me. And Yamaha had made the T-shirts. The T-shirts are all made, semi-loads of T-shirts. And the heat race come around, and I rode like a complete turd, dude. I had to go to the semi, and I made it out of the semi, and I was just down on myself going, why? And so I'll never forget, I put my running shoes on after the semi, went for a long run out through LA Coliseum. Everybody knows LA Coliseum's like. I went for a long run and said, all right, I just got to go out there to drop the gate, do the best I can. And so I come running
for a freaking run, dude. Got undressed, went for
Davey Coombs is listening to this. He's going, yep, because I saw him. I come running in. Davey looks at me. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just had to go for a run and air it out. I'm riding terrible. And there's just so much pressure. Dude, you want to talk about pressure? There's just tons of pressure. And so I went for a run. And I'll never forget walking up to the start line. Guy Cooper comes up. He puts his arm around me. He's like, dude, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to pull the whole shot. I'm going to block him. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm like, nah, it's all good. And so line up on the start line. And lo and behold, Guy Cooper pulls the start. He pulls a whole shot. I'm second. He lets me by. I win the race. And Damon just struggled the whole time. I ended up winning. He ended up like 6th or 7th, lost the title by 4 or 5 points. And so the feeling to win a title at the last race, after you've already raced 14 or 15 races, that feeling there is no better feeling. Motocross Nations wins are a really good feel-good story too. But to win that title in 1992 at the LA Coliseum, the way I did after riding terrible in my heat race, terrible in the semi, probably the only race all year I had to go to a semi to get to the main. And so everybody's seen the videos, no better feeling. And so I'm glad you said something about it, because I had that conversation with you more than once.
You did.
I want you to experience it, because
the hell with that. I wouldn't want you to experience something like that. Come on.
And these guys are going to feel that. The 250 guys, that one guy is going to feel that feeling in either Chase or Coop. And I'll text Chase this week saying, hey, dude, don't give up on it. Anything can happen. You can still win that at the last race. And that feeling and that excitement to carry that consistently all year and then make it happen at that one event is epic.
It is. Did you realize, Jeff, when did you realize you had won the championship?
I realized with a couple of laps to go, because my mechanics let me know where he's at and where I'm at. And in the LA Coliseum, you raced around the perimeter, so you could kind of see what was going on. And even my teammate was not wanting me to win at that time, and was just riding around trying to let Bradshaw by, and he couldn't even let Bradshaw by. Damon he struggled. The pressure just got to him. He cracked. And
any other weekend, it'd have been no problem probably for him, huh?
Absolutely. He was on fire that year, and hey, people don't understand the pressure that these guys go through. I talked about earlier in this segment, what Chase and Cooper Webb, the pressure that they have right now that we all put on them as spectators and analysts, and the pressure that they put on themselves is 10 times more than what we put on them. But they're amazing. They're amazing athletes, and we were all amazing athletes in the day. But right now, these two guys are at the top of their game.
They are. For going back to this 250 East Divisional championship for the 3 guys, Vialle, Hampshire, and Hammaker. if would you give one of the three an advantage, or do you think they all three have their own qualities or tangibles that they can rely on?
No, they all have their tangibles. You know, Tommy, it goes back to consistent. You said that. How many titles has he won? World GPs and the titles here. And RJ's got his titles and his experience. And Seth, he's just putting in a great year. And hopefully he can pull a great start and be that spoiler. But it'll be exciting for all of us to watch, and more exciting for one of those guys to win that championship. And I honestly don't. I can't say I can pick this person, or this person. I can't do it. There's no idea.
They're too good, dude. Like, right? You could make a fair case for Tom. We just sat here and beat it up for 20 minutes. You can make a fair case for Tom. You can make a fair case for RJ. You can make a fair case for Seth. They all have their, the qualities of why they could get the championship. And like you said, that's what's so exciting. It's going to be so fun to watch it go down in Salt Lake at the showdown, because they're going to have to perform at their best level, just like RJ did last year. Remember, he was in a winner take all with Levi Kitchen. That was gnarly. I feel like, Jeff, being in that position to where it was winner take all, where you had to beat the guy like you did, that you just told us about, like I did in 2006. In my mind, that is the hardest position in sport to be in, especially in SMX, dude. It is. I mean, because you can't do anything wrong, and you have to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You have to be on your game. You have to have all 8 pieces of that pie put together for weeks before. And so, and RJ, maybe he can do it again. He's been there and he's felt it. Just
well, that's the thing. That's why I like RJ's chances, even though, he might be banged up, or he might not be quite as fast as Seth. I think Seth is the fastest guy out of the other two. So he has that advantage, but Seth hasn't been in this situation. So it's going to be new and it's going to be uncharted territory. However, he has adapted and responded well to every situation that he's been in. Better than he's ever done before. So that's my argument of why he could win, because he has had the opportunity to make those mistakes like he has in previous years, and he hasn't done them anymore. So you got that too. But again, going back to being in a winner take all situation and RJ doing that, I like his chances. That's where I lie. Hey, before we go to the quad lock question of the week, Max Vohland, dude, how gnarly is that? And having to use a hand control for a rear brake.
It's unexplainable. My wife didn't really know what that was all about, so we explained it to her this weekend. It's really unexplainable what that kid has been through mentally by being injured and then having to adapt to a rear brake above his clutch lever, and then go out there and do it every weekend, and then be on the podium is amazing.
It's wild. He's rode good the last couple weeks. You could see he's been having some good heat race finishes, solid in the main event, and then now he got the podium. Watching him this weekend, he was good in qualifying practice. He was top 5. And then he did a hell of a job in his heat race. And of course, in the main event, being there, right place, right time. Did RJ fall? Yes, but still, he was there to take advantage of it. You have to be there in that moment if the door opens up. And just how well he's riding and how he's doing it, given his circumstance, has been really incredible. And Jeff, I go back to, I feel like he was put in a really tough position. I felt that he was forced to move into the pro ranks too fast, got hurt right out of the gate. And Jeff, you know how it is. Like some of these kids, if they get hurt and then they come back too quick, or then they're trying to impress their bosses and scared about their ride, then they get hurt again and they just get never out of the rut. So you talk about the feel-good stories like you've been saying on this podcast. For me, this is a feel-good story. It is, because I think the guy is incredible bike skill. I've said that since day one. I love his BMX background. I think that helps in Supercross. The king of Supercross, Jeremy McGrath, that's what he did beforehand. Like, I don't know, man. I like this dude.
Yeah, and I agree 100% on that coming in early. I mean, as a parent and as a rider, you want to be there as quick as you can, but there's still a learning curve no matter what. I mean, we've seen it a little bit with Nate Adams. We definitely saw it with him, and then he was so talented, and people put pressure on him to perform probably a little too quick at that KTM level. So yeah, he is definitely a feel good story. He's still got a long ways to go, but he's in a good place where he's at on that team. They want to win, but probably not as many expectations to win as some other teams. So he's in a good place to be able just to build a foundation, build some strength, build some confidence, and hopefully put something together for outdoors as well.
I want to go off topic here before we get to the off course here, I should say, before we get to the quad lock question of the week. And I wanted to ask you this. You came up, it was towards the tail end of your career, and I was you and I were in the same boat as far as the next generation coming up. And I want to ask you and share your story of what it was like and what you saw in the next generation coming up, which I think would have been McGrath. Tell us like what that was like in correlation to today and the new generations coming up. So this was 91, and then McGrath was, what year 93. Was it?
So I won the title in 92. Jeremy was on a peak Honda. 93. He came in 93. And I was still right there with him in 93. I can tell you the exact race in the exact stadium that I made my decision that I was going to be done.
Really?
100%. I was in Tampa, Florida, and it was 94. And I could just see how things were changing, and Fro was coming into that scene. You know, he battled with Jeremy. Jeremy, dominated for years, but Fro was in there, and I could just see the racing changing. And that night, I made my decision that I was going to be done, and I didn't tell anybody but my wife until late that year. That's the cool thing about it. It's a circle of life. It always is elevating. We see.
But hold on. Did you just know, like, did you just like, because you thought that you couldn't get to that level? Were you already like cooked beforehand? Like, how did you like know? Like, what was the determining factor?
Yeah, for me, I was cooked. I overtrained. I underate. I overtrained, and I did a lot of races. There was a couple of years there that I did 50 plus races. We did all the races in the States. It's when we were making a ton of money in Europe, and so I'd go to Europe and race 12 races. My tank was half full. Aggressive riding came in. Guys were just blowing guys off the track. It wasn't clean racing. You couldn't trust anybody. You couldn't have clean battles with guys at a few of those guys in those particular years, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And so, hindsight, would I have changed things? Absolutely. I wouldn't have been a vegetarian for 3 or 4 years while I was there. I overtrained. You and I are both still creatures of habit. I mean, let's face it. We both are. We still do the same thing every day. It is what it is.
Dude, it sucks, right? Because like you guys, so like everybody listen, like when Stanton's talking about, it's like no matter where the hell we are, whatever. I'm like, dude, I got to go train. I got to do something. He's like, now that Jeff is older and he just said he's done what he did wrong, what he did right, what he have changed stuff. He's like, dude, why you got to go run? You're just ruining your back and your legs and your knees, and just old habits die hard, dude. It's just like an idiot.
I knew the exact day and I knew the reasons, and it was time for me to check out. But that's been the great part about this sport. We have every 3, 4, 5 years we have a new evolution, a new family come in. The little Jet and Hunter came in. Jet took it to a new level, and that's where we're at. And guys have to escalate to that level. And so, that's the great part about this sport.
Well, and the crazy thing to me, Jeff, and I think you and I have talked about this like on our trips and when we're bench racing and all this stuff. But I will say, like, as far as the outlook and the mentality, not as far as wanting to win hasn't changed, but I guess accepting seconds and accepting thirds and it being okay if you don't win the championship is a little easier to take, say, than it was in your generation for sure, and how you approach racing. Mine, RV and I have talked about it. We sometimes, like for me, and RV, like we kind of wish that we could have the outlook like the riders have these days of just being cool with getting second or third, even though they still want to win, but they're enjoying their life with their family and racing and making good money. It's just different kind of in that regard, I believe.
100% different. I keep saying this. I don't think I could have raced and had kids and put it to the level that I needed to put it at. And so, we've talked enough about 100%. And so, I do agree 100% that, okay, fourth place, I'm okay with fourth place. I'm okay with fifth place. Somebody will tell me, gosh, did you see such and such that got seventh place this weekend at Supercross? I'm like, did you not see the lap chart? They got lapped. they were 58 seconds behind the leader. Yes, seventh was great, but at my level, that's like kissing your sister, bro. No, that's not what I want,
Yeah.
So
It's just different, right? It's just a mindset, a different mindset. Not saying that theirs is wrong and ours is right. It's just evolution, like you said, and how things change in generations. And I'm kind of envious of them because I like how they're able to do what they're doing. There's times where I wish I could have enjoyed it more, but that just wasn't that wasn't my mindset. I was like you. I learned from guys like you, and it's win or nothing, and win at all costs. So it's cool. It's cool to see the progression. I love the personalities now. Like for me, better than anybody. I've told the story a couple times. It's on We Went Fast as well. You can go check them out. But when I left Honda and went to Suzuki, I was similar to you. I was cooked. Luckily, I had achieved most of my goals, and there was only a few more that I had wanted to do. One of them was winning a Supercross championship on a 4-stroke. I wanted to be the first guy to do that, and I knew that I only had a couple more years in the tank, and I could see that the speed levels were getting to a certain spot that over the longevity of the rest of my career, I wasn't going to be able to keep elevating to where I needed to be to not have to win on a technicality. And luckily I timed it just right, but somewhat similar. If you look far out, like, dude, there ain't no shot that I'm going to be able to continue what I'm doing and not willing to take the chances and the risks what these younger generations are doing. It's just, they just do things different and ride way gnarlier. It's crazy.
What year was that your last year Honda and then going to Suzuki? What year was that?
Yeah, 2004. So I knew then, right? Like, because you were with me in the trenches when how well Reedy was riding. Honestly, there was a side of me that I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to beat him or Bubba in 2005. But I got lucky, and definitely that Suzuki RM 250 was good. So it helped me. But even though it was still good, I had no insurance, right? Like, as far as I had nothing else to fall back on, I was tapped out on speed, and I just wasn't. I knew that I didn't have anything else to give, or the only way I was going to get faster is doing things that, like you and Osho and some team managers had taught me, and other mentors along the way. And that's how you got speed, whether it be by training, racecraft, bike setup, like finding out how to be great in other ways other than just being fast, right? Being the fastest guy from a lap time perspective.
So real quick story, some 20 years, you said 2004. So here we are this year. I was running on the beach in New Smyrna with my wife, and I was reminded of the day that you and I were running on New Smyrna Beach.
I remember that. That was in 2004.
When we were in the midst of having all those conversations with Ray Blank and in doing the contract stuff at that time. Well, so how many years later, I'm running on New Smyrna Beach, and it was just all an instant replay. So just something totally different.
Yeah, that's wild. So you guys know, like Jeff and I were, I was just getting ready to start back riding almost 3.5 months into my rehab from my ACL, and heavy into the negotiation point of between Suzuki and Honda. I mean, Suzuki, they had already given me my offer, but Jeff was lobbying hard and tugging on everyone that he knew at the upper brass at Honda to just get this deal done if we can. And, you know, we were running down the beach in New Smyrna, having a good open heart conversation of where I was, how many more years that I could go. There's probably a lot more detail to it than I can remember, but nevertheless, it was heartfelt stuff. And I appreciate everything that you did for me. That leads us to talking about speed and how things have changed. The quad lock question of the week. Jeff, so I know you watch Title 24 once in a while. Quad lock has been picking up a lucky winner each and every week, where we'll pick what we think these fans send in questions that we think we can elaborate on, and maybe sometimes it's off topic or not something directly related to what we saw on the weekend. And this weekend, it'll be the lucky winner of quad lock. Question of the week is Moto_bait. Moto Bait, we appreciate your love and support. You know what to do. Slide into the DM on Title 24. If our man JH hasn't already contacted you, we appreciate everything. Thanks for the question and engagement. It's awesome. So Moto Bait asks, do you think that one lap speed is too highly regarded since the sport rewards consistency? Where are you at?
Well, I think mentally now, this whole one lap speed for time qualifying, it's important. It just sets the tone for the day. It sets the start line position. But ultimately, it's not where it's at. You have to be consistent week in and week out. Tommy's proved that in the 250 class, and Chase and Cooper Webb have proved that in the 450 class. So you have to be there every weekend. And so great question. You have to have that one lap speed to build some confidence to get you through each and every weekend. But most importantly, you have to be there every race, every lap, every weekend to win a title.
Man, you're right. You do. I tend to like the consistency a little bit more, Jeff. Yeah, you do. You do have to have that raw speed for sure. But you also have to have that consistency of speed, obviously. I would probably sacrifice a little bit more of the raw speed as far as one lap speed to get on top of the board. I would be cool with second fastest, but a faster average lap. So I think sometimes that the guys do chase just that being top of the board a little bit too much, rather than getting something that's going to be faster for a more consistent amount of time. That's me personally, what I believe. But at some stage, I think though you have to have some type of mental fortitude to be knowing to forego being the fastest guy on the board every time you're on the track, and really looking at the big picture side of things. Like, and for example, like you racing Bradshaw, I'm sure there were times in practice or other people outside of DB, you were okay with maybe not being the fastest guy in practice because you knew you wear their ass out in the race. Same for me and me. Same for Villapoto. Other guys like, okay, yeah, this guy's fast one lap, but what's he going to do for 20 laps? So I think there's a fine line. And I think the guys that aren't worried about that are the guys that do better over a longer period of time, because they don't get wrapped around the axle of always having to be the fastest guy on the track every single time. And if they're not, then their mind just explodes because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not the fastest guy.
There are guys that are one lap practice guys, and then there are guys that are 20-minute main event guys, 100%. And it can have a little bit of that. it's gonna advance you even better. And just so all the viewers understand, if RC was a 10th off in practice, he's like, oh, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win. And that's why he's surrounded himself with so many people. And those guys are like, no, dude, you got it. So he wanted to be the fastest every practice. And
right.
So we all
want
to be that fast.
Yeah, wanting for sure. But at the same time, it's just like, if you couldn't be the fastest guy, like, hell yeah, I wanted to be the fastest guy. But I'm like, all right, well, if I only got beat by 10th, man, do you think that guy can like do this for 20 laps in a row? You guys like, no way, there's no shot. Like, what was the second fastest lap? But yeah, you always want to be the fastest, but knowing like, okay, you know what? A 10th isn't too bad off the fastest time because I know I can do this lap for 20 laps.
And you and I had that conversation many, many times throughout your career. I mean, easily. So, yeah.
It's that good question, Moto Bait. I like that. I think a lot of it comes to mindset too, and being content with where you're at and just and playing the long game. I like that. That was good. Congratulations on the question. That was awesome. And again, when you get your quad lock stuff, I'm sure you will be pumped. Comment in them and tell them what you like about it and enjoy the product. And again, thanks for the support. As far as this weekend, we're going to be in Denver. Throw that promo up, Aaron. Here we go. Super Motocross on NBC this week. Thursday, as always, SMX Insiders with Weege and JT. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern. They got the Lawrence brothers as their big interview. So if you guys don't have much to do and want to check them out, go to their YouTube page at 3:00 and see what they have to say. They got some good insight for the most part in their structure of the show. It's a lot of fun. And then, of course, they got the brothers, the Lawrence brothers on there. Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Race day live with JB and AC qualifying. That'll be live on Peacock. And then 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. local. Monster Energy Supercross round 16 at Denver. That'll be live on Peacock. And then Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, encore presentation on NBC. Another great opportunity. We had an encore presentation yesterday. So we're in a good spot right now. Couldn't have a better opportunity and time to help this sport grow. SMX World Championship, of having those encore presentations, being live on Peacock, sometimes being live on NBC or the USA Network, especially, Jeff, in a time like this where the championship is so close. As far as our next segment of the show, the Dunlop debate. Dunlop leading tire in SMX. They got it going on. Several different types of tires that you have the option from. I love what Dunlop has done. If you haven't, go check out the broadcast this past weekend. We did a segment on Dunlop, and Glover did a great job explaining just the grassroots of how Dunlop helps the sport and where they're at and their outlook. A great company for sure. But the 250 West is back. And we haven't gotten your thoughts on that West division. Deegan, he's got a 17-point lead. You got Julian Boumer, who came out firing, and their little rivalry back in Seattle. But looking at the points right now, for those all just listening, Hayden Deegan has 171 points. Cole Davies is 17 points back. Boumer is 26 points back. So Boumer is going to have to win. Otherwise, his championship hopes are out the door this weekend, because he will not mathematically have a chance. So he's banged up. He's banged up too. Where are you at with Hayden? Do you like what he brings to the table? And has he surprised you? Is there anything this year that he's done that you thought he would have done better? We've talked about it a lot here, so everyone's heard myself and RV's comments on what he's done. So where are you at with Deegan? Where are we going?
Yeah, no, I mean, 17-point lead, you can't knock that up, but he's been a surprise because he hasn't just completely dominated the field there. And so is he going to win the championship? Pretty high statistics that he is going to win that championship. But like, as I said, just not the dominant force that I believe we all thought he was going to be or could be. And we've all been in that situation. My view on that is you get comfortable in life, you get some money, you buy some cars, and you may not work as hard as you should on a certain off season. I know I did that. And so if I had to guess, that there was a little bit of that, when he's showing everybody his bling, and maybe didn't put in the effort that he should have put in to prepare himself to start the year off. And then on the flip side of that, I am pumped for Cole Davies, because he's done just the opposite. He wants what Deegan has, and he's put in the work, and it shows.
There you go. His progression and just how well he has advanced Cole Davies from last year at SMX Next to where he is now. His championship hopes are, he's going to need some serious help, but it's been a lot of fun to watch. He's definitely surprised a lot of people. How he rides a motorcycle, his style is good. I think that definitely contrasts of approach in racing. I don't think one's better than the other. I think that's the world we live in, even though I wouldn't have done the things that some of these guys do, but it doesn't make them what they do wrong, and doesn't make what I did right or any better. It was just our approach, and times have changed. I love it. I think it's cool. But again, the contrast in style and approach. I think that Hayden's going to continue to do well. And I think that he'll get this championship. That'll be another championship that he'll be able to check the box off. And I think that he'll continue to get better in Supercross. I think that if I were him, I think I would be riding more Supercross if I had an opportunity to do that. It seems like motocross comes a little bit easier to him. So I don't know, but I think he's doing well, especially considering the fact of how much press he gets, always being in front of the camera. I think he handles it well, although he's been in that position his whole life, right, Jeff?
Absolutely. He's been trained for it. There's no doubt about it. Family has put him in that situation and position, and we'll see if he can make it to the next level. He's done a great job in the 250 class. So now it's time to get in the 450 class, get in there, mix it with those guys.
That's going to be fun, dude.
Yeah. He's going to take a few hard knocks. We've all been there. We saw it with you. We saw it with everybody that's come in. For him to come and dominate, I don't think it'll happen. Going to have to take a few hits, but the future is going to be exciting. When a few of those guys get in the 450 class, and with the remaining great guys and great talent we have there, and possibly another new manufacturer coming in next year with a top guy on it. So, just great things happening.
Yeah, there's going back to Davies. If you look at the races that got away, hell, he's won the last two races, nearly had a third one in Glendale, and then he went down. Hey, that's racing. That's part of it, right, Jeff? You're being honest. Hey, like you always used to tell me, you got to be honest with yourself. And if you're not, and you're not being truthful and saying that you're not putting in the work, and you're telling yourself that you did when you didn't, that's where the buck stops. So he had an opportunity to do it, and he didn't. But still, it's been a lot of fun to watch. So you go back and you peel back what could have been. He's looking pretty good points wise.
Yeah, no, he is. And just a great story. Came over from where he came. He worked with a good friend of ours, Ben. And so got the right tools early. Came over here, went to California, got hooked up with the Troy Lee team, and worked on fitness, and then got to where he's at. He's on the best 50 team. And it's he's made it happen. The family, his parents, obviously have been a big supporter, and wouldn't be where he's at without his family getting each one of them positions.
I definitely think when he got aboard that Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha team, and just being around those people, you kind of talked about it with Justin Cooper, and surrounding yourself with great people, whether it's your inner circle, your family, or on your race teams, whatever it might be. I think that when he went there, that's where the progress really took it to the next level. And he already had those, that foundation with working with guys like BT. And I know when he came over here, he worked with RV for a little bit before going over, or then he went over to the Troy Lee Designs. KTM. But yeah, that he definitely went to the next level there. Moving along, we talked about the Denver preview. M. Miller 141 asks, and I love this: if you are Cooper Chase, how would you approach the prep and race days of the final 2 rounds? What would you do if you were? What'd you do in '92?
I didn't change anything. They have to line up on the starting line this weekend in Denver, knowing that they put in their laps this week. They trained, they've ate right, they've got their proper sleep. They will not change a thing for the next 2 weeks going into the last 2 events.
Got it. Exactly. Like Jeff told us, being creatures of habit. This is where creatures of habit really come in clutch. Again, like when Jeff and I are sitting here talking to you, we ain't saying that our way is the right way, but this is the way that worked for us, and it's worked for a lot of other great champions. And I would have done the same thing. Miller, I tried to keep it as the same as possible each and every week, especially championship situation where you don't have a lot of wiggle room. Now, if these guys had, a 1 race buffer, then you go out, you start riding some pro motocross stuff and getting ready and, getting ready for that championship. So, yep, I think you have to stay in it. You have to stay locked in and focus on the task at hand, and that's to win the Supercross portion of the SMX World Championship. So great question there. Excited about Denver and moving along for the Pro Motocross Championship and the rest of the year, because we brought Cardo on as a partner. They're going to be helping us out for the rest of the season and give some background on Cardo. If you don't know about it, it's the comms. You guys use it at JSA, the adventure rides. Been a lot of talk about it, trying to get it implemented into Supercross and Motocross. Just incredible product. Their audio that they use and just how clear it is. We use the TalkBack, the Pack Talk, and it's awesome, for instructing, especially like when I was with Jeff. All the riders had the comms on our helmets. Jeff could tell us where to go, what to do, especially talking about the less advanced riders is super, super helpful in a coaching perspective. I think it'd be great for the races. You want to share your experiences with Cardo, Jeff?
Absolutely. They've been with us for now 8 years, great company. And the biggest way I can explain it, my wife didn't really want to ride adventure bikes. She's rode motor her whole life and wasn't sure about the whole street thing. And I put the comm in her helmet, and for my wife and I to be able to go ride once or twice a week just around the farm and around all the country roads around here, it just takes her confidence to the next level. It makes her feel safer. It makes me feel safer. Hey, honey, watch this deer, watch this bump in the road, watch this car. They don't look like they're going to stop. It just keeps all of my clients at JSA safe, but it just raises the confidence level and safety level on off-road and adventure riding.
And you guys are using the Pack Talk Pros, right? I believe.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It is incredible. Like, we started using them probably 5-6 years ago on our adventure rides, and then when Jeff started his Jeff Stanton adventure rides, and we got him on the program, and then it works so well. I think it should be one-way communication in SMX. There is no way, and I want to get your thoughts on this. And I talked about this 2 weeks ago, I think, on the show. There's no way you can tell me it wouldn't be better for safety on SMX. Where would your view be, and what is your thoughts on having one-way comms for SMX racing? Are you for it or against it?
No, I'm 100% for it. Just as a safety point, there's benefits, absolutely. I mean, look at other motorsports, what they do at NASCAR. You don't have to. The rider doesn't have to talk back, and it's not for everybody. It may not be for everybody, but it should be offered to those guys that want to advance. And we've saw some red flag situations where it could have been pointed out before. I mean, we can beat it up with a dead horse. Yes. It needs to be opened up at some point, and we focus on a safety issue, and there's no reason not to.
Yeah, sweet. Michael Antonovich from Course Heading is going to be doing some BTS stuff for Title 24 on behalf of Cardo and ourselves here and Cardo coming on board. So with that being said, having a guy down in the trenches helping, we'd love to get some feedback from the fans and things that maybe you guys would want to see from behind the scenes. Obviously, he's not going to be able to get everything. We're not going to be able to get everything. So if there's things that you guys like to see on the BTS side of things throughout all the people that y'all follow and podcasts and stuff like that, we'd love to hear your feedback and get your requests, and that'll give us some insight so we can give you what you want. But Jeff, that was a long one today, dude. We normally don't go that long. What do you got planned for the rest of the week, brother?
Just the normal, lots of farming back here. You know, we farm 3,000 or 4,000 acres, and so got crews of guys going. So I will leave here, go see what needs to be done on the farm. And we start our adventure stuff up the middle of May, and we'll be doing some adventure riding, adventure training, just life. I'm fortunate to be raised on a farm here in Michigan and have a great family that raised us well, and we have a multi-generational farm that is going to keep going, even though, and thank you, Title 24, for mentioning my dad a couple of weeks ago. He passed a couple of weeks ago, and so my younger brother and myself are going to keep the farm rolling, and it was established in 1835, and we'll just keep the tradition going and keep farming and keep riding dirt bikes and following the great sport that we love.
That's right. Absolutely. We're going to have a good time in the Black Hills, aren't we?
Absolutely. My wife will
no wheelie. Hey, okay, everybody, we're going to send it off with this before we get our parting shots and credits to our great partners and sponsors. So this guy right here, Stanton, talking about he's older now. He just likes to chill and blah, blah, blah. God forbid you ever try to do a wheelie with him and you might go 10 feet longer. The game is on. And we're not talking about slow wheelies either. We're talking about 85-mile-an-hour wheelies. This guy, how fast he goes still in the woods. I mean, the guy was blowing me away on these Tiger 900s, and they're big bikes. And we had some narrow stuff that we're going for. I'm like, dude, I thought this was going to be kind of a chill ride, and you're wide ass open through these things, dude.
We were just said at the first part of the show that it was safe and fun. But when two competitors get going, the level gets raised. And so, you got to understand who you're riding with and surround yourself with the right people. But no, I still enjoy riding.
You do. You like being Scotty Parker, backing it in, coming into the corners, those gravel roads you're taking us on. Dude, that was so much fun.
No, I just enjoy riding, whether it's at Triumph's facility, riding the new 450 or the 250. I just enjoy riding, and I know my limits. I know what I can do and can't do. I'm not the fastest guy anymore, but at 56, I just enjoy riding dirt bikes, dude. We're blessed.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for your insight. You're a legend. Thanks for everything that you've done for me along the ways. You definitely helped me become the man and competitor that I am today. For sure, you've helped a lot of great athletes. For sure, your knowledge.
We got time for one more story.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what year it was. It was in November, and I get a call from RC. He's like, "Hey, I need a favor." I'm like, "Okay, no problem." I bought a dog. In Michigan. I said, "Okay." He's like, "Do you think you could bring it down to me? I want to get it to my kids for Christmas." I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." He says, "All right. Well, the bad news is you got to pick this dog up now. It's like the 1st of November. You got to pick this dog up now and then fly down on like the 22nd of December." So I'm like, "Okay." So I go pick up this little Shih Tzu. What was its name?
Poppy. Poppy.
I go pick up Poppy in Traverse City, Michigan, and I bring this back to my house here. And I had 2 young kids at the time, and Poppy, just next thing I know, is cuddled up in my armpit. And I had Poppy for 30 days. And my wife loved Poppy. My daughter fell in love with Poppy. And so it's time to take Poppy back to Tallahassee to give it to RC's kids. And I called him and I'm like, "Dude, this ain't happening." He's like, "What do you mean it's not happening?" I was like, "I fell in love with Poppy and my wife fell in love with Poppy. I can't give Poppy up. I've had Poppy for 30 days now, dude." So,
hey.
long story short, Poppy ended up in Tallahassee. And the things we do for our buddies.
Oh, that. And then, dude, you brought Rocky to us also. We got so fast forward, it would have been 3 years later. And yeah, it was like this would have been midsummer. I'm like, hey, dude, lost one of the dogs. We need another one, blah, blah, blah. And wasn't Poppy. And I'm like, can you go up and pick a dog out? Pick this dog up. I got it from the same breeder. This dude's name is Rocky. And then I got some pictures of Rocky and Poppy. Maybe we can share on the Instagram. But he did the same thing, everybody. He came down to Tallahassee and yeah, he hung out with us for a day, got Rocky all acclimated. It was good.
Yeah, it's the things we do. It's all fun. But
hey,
yeah,
we send Jeff and I love our pets. Like we send pictures of it. I sent him. Remember, I sent you a picture of my two. They run errands with me all the time. I got like a little car seat for my dog, the little one. Well, my wife like kind of wants me to put her chosen one in there, and then my son's got a golden doodle, big old thing. The thing is awesome. His name is Reggie, and they ride with me. We go all over the place, dude. Pup cups galore.
Yep.
Love it, dude. Right? You bring yours with you. You used to get yours a Happy Meal.
My Freddie's gonna be in the truck with me all day. Absolutely. So.
There you go.
So just outside of moto, life still lives on, and we
That's right.
We look after each other. It's all good. So
that's right.
Thanks for having me on. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody check out JSA, Jeff Stanton Adventures. It's killers what he's doing there at Two Hats. We already talked about it. Great insight on both championships from you, Jeff. We appreciate your time. Everyone who tunes into Title 24, thank you very much. Remember, you can listen to us on all of the podcast applications. And then we're also live on Peacock and then, of course, Motorsports on NBC's YouTube page. You can check us out there as well. We appreciate the support. Incredible race. Two races to go this weekend in Denver and then the following weekend in Salt Lake to wrap up the Supercross portion of the SMX World Championship. Appreciate all of our sponsors, United Motorsports, Quad Lock, Boxo, Dunlop, and now Cardo with some BTS stuff coming up with you. So thank you guys very much. Thanks again for having six-time Jeff Stanton on, and we will see you next week.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.